Hello and welcome to Tracy Mommy Reads. My sincere apologies for not posting a video last week. I was having technical difficulties involving a damaged phone that I won't even get into. But I am back today with another book review. And today I'm going to be reviewing Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The only other book that I've read by Taylor Jenkins Reid is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I really enjoyed it. So of course I went to her website to check out more of her work, and all of her books have gotten just rave reviews, but just based on the blurb for this particular book, it made me want to read it, Malibu Rising. And I got this one, I checked it out from the library on my Kindle. Let me get my notes out. The thing that I really enjoy about the two books that I've read from Taylor Jenkins Reid is I love how she writes about eras past with such detail that it makes you feel nostalgic in a way. If you were around during those times or not, the imagery and the action and the setting, it's palpable. You can visibly visual in your mind, see things playing out. And it's just little nuances that she provides. It's not even a lot of poetic and flowery language or anything like that. It's just such attention to the little details of things that were taking place during those time periods. And I also love how, even in the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Evelyn Hugo was this, big Hollywood celebrity. And the way that in that book, she would, come up with fictional, actors, actresses, movies and things, but she would also include, actual actors or films or scandals or things that went on during that time period, so that they were so interlocked that you're kind of thinking, okay, was Evelyn wait a minute, was she a real person? Because I totally Googled it to see, because I was just like, this sounds like this really could have happened. And the same thing in Malibu Rising. The father in this book, and I use that term loosely, was Mick Riva was his name, and he was a big deal, a big celebrity singer in his heyday, in the 60s and 70s. And the story, when it opens, takes place in the 80s, and his 4 kids are now all adults, and his oldest daughter Nina is preparing for this big party that they've been having for the last 7 years, where everyone in Malibu comes, from the guy that works at the corner store to the hottest celebrity at the time. And I think at the core of this book, it's about what happens to the children of couples who have these tumultuous relationships and marriages, and when the father is estranged from the children, and how that affects the mother and her ability to take care of her kids, and how these kids turn out, what happens to these kids. And that's kind of in this story, I was rooting so hard for these 4 kids. Nina was the oldest, then Jay, Hudson, and Kit. Because when I tell you their dad was a bastard, it started off all good. He was trying to make it, and he's this sweet kid from New York, and meets their beautiful mom in Malibu, and he's not famous yet, and they get married, and they're in love, and they have this idyllic vision of the kind of life they have. But once he gets famous, it's women are throwing themselves at him, and he just becomes an asshole of grand proportions. There was one part in the book, and I have to there are some spoilers, so I'll put the thing if you want to turn off or fast forward. He had an affair with a woman, and the woman gave birth to his son. Keep in mind now, his wife had also just recently given birth. So she has like an infant at home. Her oldest daughter, Nina, is like a toddler. Then she has her new baby son, Jay. This woman knocks on the door and has this baby and says, I can't do it. This is, mixed baby. He needs to raise him. And that baby is like kind of like about, a month or two younger or older than her own son, Jay. So he was out there cheating on her and had a baby born at the same time as his son. And then this woman drops his baby off, and his wife ends up raising that baby. So Hudson is like mixed kid, but it's not the mom's kid. But she's like, he's innocent in all this, and she ends up being the only mother he's ever known or whatever. And it's not a secret, like they all know. But yeah, and he leaves his family Mick leaves his family at one point, and the kids end up towards the end, they're like struggling, because some stuff going on with their mom. And he's out here like making all this money, just living the life, and you having a daughter that's having to drop out of school, and they're like penny pinching and barely making it. And he's just out there living his life with millions of dollars, and you have 4 whole kids that are just struggling, So what ends up happening, because like I said, present day when the book starts, the oldest daughter, Nina, she's preparing for this big party, and she's in this big, beautiful house or whatever. All 4 of the kids are like, the surfing is their thing, because, they're in Malibu. And the oldest son, Jay, he is just, gone on to become a world-class surfer and gotten all these endorsements and awards and trophies and monies and all this stuff. And then Nina, she also surfs, but she's just really beautiful, and people have used her for a female surfer model type thing. And so she's done all these ads for surf wear and bikinis and things like that. Then Hudson, the baby that got brought to the house, he's a photographer, so he comes up and gets a lot of fame, following his brother around, taking, shots of him in the water. And then their youngest sibling, Kit, she also surfs, and but she's in college. They kind of like coddle her. They want her to like be the one to go to college and do something different. But they've all like amassed, a nice amount of money, not to mention Nina is also married to a famous tennis player. So in the end, I don't know why, I just was like, okay, at least these kids, no thanks to their father, they were okay. They were very, very close, did what they had to do to survive. And then just using something that they loved, like surfing, they were able to carve out, lives for themselves and do very well. So I was just, I'm all about the underdog. So that I really, really, enjoyed and was cheering for them the whole way. But let me tell you something. That party got so out of control. It got so out of control. I would have stopped that and shut that shit down a long time ago. It was just so much going on in that party. And the other thing like that happened, the author, like she used the party as a device to kind of put pathways in there. We saw where the siblings, like where their lives were being taken from this party, like things that happened and how they confronted different things that was going on. So I thought that was really really clever mechanism. And the thing that really got me, because I was already hating Mick, their dad. All these years they've been having this party. All these years they've been struggling. Because keep in mind, Nina. Now the book takes place in the 80s, and they're all. I think Nina's the oldest, and she might be 27. So they're all in their kid is like 20 or 21. So from 21 to 27 is their ages in this. All 4 of them are in their 20s, and I don't think Nina has seen her dad since she was in maybe middle school or even elementary. He shows up to the party that night. It was crazy. And the thing that I really appreciated was how that whole situation was handled. It got handled the way it should have been handled, because where the hell have you been, So I really was glad that happened the way that it did. Now, me in endings with books, I'm always, because I'm a writer, I'm always seeing it going a whole different way, you know, especially when you have such great characterizations and imagery and dialogue and setting and everything. And then I'm just like, my expectations are like way up here for how these books should end. And I felt like it ended okay, but I'm just like wondering if it was plausible and like that you could just do something like that just at the drop of a dime. But hey, first of all, it's fiction, so that's how the author chose to end her book. And second of all, I mean, it's plausible, you know, and so good for everybody that they got like a nice tied up ending in the story, because they deserved it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Put this one on your list if you haven't read it already. Now, if you have read it, I would love to know, what did you think about it? Leave me a comment below. And as always, to everyone who is subscribing, everyone who leaves comments, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to do that. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button right now. Do it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great week, and I will be back next week with another book review. Bye.